I need to tell you something that might change how you see your life right now. This moment right here, right now, might be the moment you've been waiting for your whole life. And you might not even realize it. Drop a comment below and tell me what state you're listening from. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't about the future. It's about today. It's about understanding that the moment you've been waiting for isn't coming someday. It's already here. Here's what I mean and why recognizing this could be the most important thing you do today. You know, most people spend their whole lives waiting for the right time, waiting for better circumstances, waiting for permission, waiting for someone else to make the first move, waiting for things to get easier. When you're young, you wait to grow up. When you're in school, you wait to graduate. When you're working, you wait to retire. When you have problems, you wait for them to be solved. When you're sad, you wait to feel better. But here's what I've learned after years of watching people and thinking about what makes life meaningful. The moment you've been waiting for isn't a future moment. Been waiting for isn't a future moment. It's this moment, right now, today. The moment when you stop waiting and start living. The moment when you stop hoping someone else will fix things and start fixing them yourself. The moment when you stop thinking about what you wish you could do and start doing what you can do. This is especially important if you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. You might think that the important moments of your life are behind you. You might think that the time for big changes or new beginnings has passed. You might feel like you're just waiting for the end, but that's not true. The moment you've been waiting for might be right now. It might be today. It might be this week. Let me explain what this moment looks like and why it matters so much. This is the moment when you stop feeling sorry for yourself and start feeling grateful for what you have. When you stop focusing on what's wrong with your life and start appreciating what's still right with it. This is the moment when you stop thinking about all the things you can't do anymore and start focusing on all the things you can still do. When and on all the things you can still do. When you stop making excuses and start making progress, even if that progress is small. This is the moment when you stop waiting for other people to call you and start calling them. When you stop waiting for invitations and start creating opportunities to spend time with people you care about. This is the moment when you stop complaining about how the world has changed and start finding ways to enjoy the world as it is now. When you stop wishing things were different and start making the best of things as they are. This is the moment when you stop thinking that your best days are behind you and start believing that your best days might be right ahead of you. But here's the important part. This moment doesn't happen automatically. You have to choose it. You have to decide that today is the day you stop waiting and start living. You have to decide that you're not going to spend another day feeling sorry for yourself or wishing things were different. You're going to spend today doing something that makes your life a little bit better. And here's the beautiful thing about being older. You have advantages for making this choice that younger people don't have. You have experience. You have perspective. You understand what really matters and what doesn't matter. You've been through difficult times before and survived them. You've seen problems that seemed huge at the time turn out to be manageable. You've learned that most things that people worry about never actually happen. You know the difference between real problems and imaginary problems. You know the difference between things that matter and things that just seem to matter. You know the difference between temporary difficulties and permanent changes. This knowledge is powerful. It means you can make this choice to stop waiting and start living from a place of wisdom rather than just hope. You can make it knowing that you have the strength and experience to handle whatever comes next. It doesn't have to be something big or dramatic. It just has to be something that moves you forward instead of keeping you stuck in place. Maybe it's calling a friend you haven't talked to in a while and having a real conversation about what's going on in your lives. Maybe it's taking a walk outside instead of sitting inside all day, even if it's just to the end of your street and back. Maybe it's learning something new that interests you, how to use a computer program, how to cook a dish you've never tried, how to grow a plant, how to play a card game you've never learned. The specific action doesn't matter as much as the decision to take action. The decision to stop waiting and start doing. The decision to stop being passive and start being active in creating the life you want. Because here's what happens when you make that decision. Your life starts to change. Not all at once, but little by little, day by day, week by week. When you stop waiting for other people to make you happy and start doing things that make you happy, you become happier. When you stop depending on external circumstances for your mood and start taking responsibility for your own emotional state, you become more stable and more peaceful. When you stop waiting for other people to solve your problems and start solving them yourself, you become more capable and confident. When you prove to yourself that you can still figure things out and make things better, you remember that you're not helpless. This is why this moment right now might be the moment you've been waiting for. Not because external circumstances are perfect, but because you're ready to stop letting external circumstances control your happiness. You're ready to take responsibility for your own life. You're ready to stop being a victim of your situation and start being the creator of your situation. Let me tell you about someone who understood this. Her name is Betty and she's 71 years old. For 5 years after her husband died, Betty waited. She waited to feel better. She waited for her children to visit more often. She waited for her health problems to improve. She waited for life to become enjoyable again. Every day was the same. Betty would wake up feeling sad and lonely. She would think about all the things that were wrong with her life. Her husband was gone. Her children were busy with their own families. Her body hurt in ways it never used to hurt. Her house felt too big and too empty. She would wish things were different. When her husband was alive and her children were young and lived nearby. She would think about how unfair it was that other people seemed to have easier lives than she did. And then she would go to bed feeling sad and lonely, and the next day would be exactly the same. Betty was waiting for someone or something to rescue her from her unhappiness. She was waiting for her children to realize how lonely she was and start spending more time with her. She was waiting for doctors to find treatments that would make her feel better. She was waiting for time to heal her grief and make her feel normal again. But after 5 years of waiting, Betty realized something important. Nobody was coming to rescue her. Her children had their own lives and their own problems. They loved her, but they couldn't make her happy. The doctors had done what they could for her health problems, but some things just came with getting older. Time had passed, but the grief was still there. That's when Betty had her moment. The moment when she realized that the life she was waiting for wasn't going to appear on its own. If she wanted a different life, she was going to have to create it herself. So, Betty made a decision. She decided that today, that specific day, was going to be different. She wasn't going to spend the day feeling sorry for herself. She was going to spend the day doing something that might make her life a little bit